Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Steve Akeley, and once again, we have one of our Chatting With interviews. This is with McNew. McNew is certainly pretty special to me. She represents a true turning point in the ABV network. Somebody who, if I probably didn't find McNew, I don't even know if I could be where I'm at today, because she is just one of those electric personalities, someone who has kept the interest from the audience, someone who has really helped me build this brand. She's very personal, a dear friend for sure. And this is a fun interview from my Chatting With show. Enjoy this interview with Stephanie McNew. Hello, I'm Steve Akeley, and joining me today for a special Chatting With is my co-host on the Bourbon Daily, regular at the ABV Network, beloved personality, McNew. McNew, what's going on?
Hey, Steve, what's up?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm good.
So I caught you on a weekend when you've already started. We're in September here as I record this, and you're already putting Halloween decor together and getting ready to start decorating your whole yard.
Yes, because this is a process. I feel like most people probably just throw out a skeleton, maybe a pumpkin, and call it a day. I don't do that. I go to the extremes. Do the whole graveyard. We build an arch, and each room of my house has a different Halloween theme, so I had to lay that out. It's a process.
Right, but you get mad about people who decorate for Christmas too early, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm one of those, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving's when I do Christmas. But now, the last couple of years, they've been hard years for everybody. So, you know what? If you want to put your tree up November 1st, have at it. I've kind of changed my opinion on this.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about holidays. Let's start at the beginning of the year. Do you do anything for New Year's? No decoration for New Year's.
No decorations. If we have a party, I'll probably get some black and gold stuff, and just put that up, or some confetti or something. But we do that maybe every other year. It's not a really consistent thing. So If there's a party, yes. If there's not really.
Now you're into Valentine's Day. Do you decorate for that at all?
Yeah, I hang up little hearts and stuff all over the place. And we have one table I kind of do as a theme table for the seasons. So I have little Valentine thingies I put up. I don't do the whole house though.
I think February 1st would be fair game for that. What are you thinking?
Yeah, February 1st through the 14th. It's 2 weeks of hearts and tears.
It's not a major holiday, so yeah.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I don't decorate for Valentine's. I also don't decorate for the next one we'll talk about, but you are Irish, and that would be St. Patrick's Day, which is a thing for some people. I don't decorate for it at all, but do you?
Yeah. But you forgot Mardi Gras, which falls between, usually falls between Valentine's and St. Patrick's. So I have some Mardi Gras decorations, even though I live in Indiana and nobody here gives a shit except me. So I do a little bit of Mardi Gras. And then I go big again, not big, but semi-big, more than most sane people do for St. Patrick's Day. Do kind of most of the downstairs and St. Patrick's Day stuff. But my mom did too. We were the only house in her town that had shamrocks in the windows for St. Patrick's Day. So I'm the only one in my neighborhood that does too.
So let's say, how Irish are you? Or is your mom Irish too or not?
No, actually, she's not at all. My dad is, but my mom just
the name McNew obviously is. Yeah.
So my dad's Irish. My mom is like German. She has German heritage and she's Cherokee, but my dad's Irish, but my mom just really liked decorating. So she jumped on the St. Patrick's Day thing.
She got into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she adopted the last name then. So she became, honorary Irish.
Yeah.
And obviously having kids who are Irish, she's Irish. So at that point, but your father, are both sides of his Irish or not?
Yeah. Like they are Irish.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, he's hardcore Irish son.
Yeah, but he doesn't give a shit. He's just
he doesn't care. He never did. He ever care when he was a young man? He would go out drinking in bars and that. Would he be like a St. Patrick's Day guy?
My dad was a logger, which is like a pretty blue collar job. So like every day was like go to the bar after work. I just feel like it's probably another day for him, except there's more annoying people there to be in his way.
Okay. Next holiday would be Easter. Now this one moves around a little bit, so it's hard to give a calendar date when you would do that. I would say Easter is one of those. It's a bigger holiday, so I'm going to say 3 weeks before Easter is fair game. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm weird about Easter because I'm not super religious, and that seems to be like a very religious holiday. But I like the bunnies and the eggs and all the weird stuff that goes with it. So I do Easter in that way.
I'm not religious either, but I'm into the commercialized side of that and Christmas. Christmas is also technically a very religious holiday, but in reality, I don't think most people are reflecting on any sort of religion. At most, they have the manger scene as some way, but that's about it. And that's not even really religious. I mean, for the most part, it's just commercialized. Yeah.
You're right. Exactly. So Christmas got taken over. I think the people that are into Easter like it for the religious reasons. I'm just like, oh, these bunnies are cute. Might as well put those out for spring.
So Easter would be the first one where the Akelys would weigh in and blow molds, so the warden is into the blow molds, vintage ones. So she's got a couple of Easter bunnies. Cool. Yeah. So those are those plastic things. Typically, if you don't know what a blow mold is, they're lighted and they go on your porch typically. Yeah. And or some people have so many they put them out and fill out their yard too. But yeah.
My aunt was one of those people. She had them for Easter and Christmas, a whole front yard full of these things. Yes. I don't know what she ever did with them.
If you're into those, don't confuse those listeners. I know you know what they are, McNew, but don't confuse them with those things of today that are just like fabric that blow up. It's not those. Matter of fact, if you like the blow molds, you hate those new things.
Those things are trash. Chris had them when I moved in, and we don't put them up anymore because I hate them.
I don't like those either. So yeah. Next holiday that people typically decorate for. Now you can tell me if I've missed something, but I would think 4th of July.
So I do my 4th of July stuff starting Memorial Day because you can get away with like the red, white, and blues through like June, right? So it's like Memorial Day.
Yes, yeah.
I keep that up for 4 weeks.
Oh, 4 weeks. No, I'm a purist on that. We have a blow mold of Uncle Sam. He goes out on July 1st and he comes down at the end of the night on July 4th. So he gets 4 days. I just don't see
the point of doing 4 days. I want to be up for a while. I put a lot into it.
He gets 4 days. That's all he gets. Yeah.
And then, the summer's kind of boring because you run out of holidays. So I just like take all that down and do like lemons and normal summer decor.
Summer decor. Okay. Yeah. We got nothing going on in the summer. It's just back to regular porch. It's kind of set up more for sitting out and drinking at that point for us. So yeah. So that's kind of nice. And then as we transition into the fall, we're not doing anything till October 1st. That begins the Halloween season.
Labor Day weekend. I am buying pumpkins. I am putting up leaf garlands. Like it is fall, and I don't care that it is still 90 degrees. It was 90 degrees today. Like it is. Yeah. It's fall as soon as Labor Day rolls around.
Yeah, no, not for most people. I think October 1st is it's fair. I think you open yourself up to criticism anytime before.
And that's fair, but I feel like September's for fall. It's for your pumpkins and scarecrows. October 1st, you do your Halloween stuff. November 1st, you take all the Halloween down, go back to fall and throw in some thankful turkey shit until Thanksgiving.
No, it's audience. Here's how it is. So September 1st is still summer. Summer goes till whatever, September 22nd or 3rd. I don't know the actual. Yeah. So I say it's October 1st is Halloween, and you can intermingle fall at that point if you're that sort of person, and then it goes Halloween till the 31st. Then that comes down, And if you're into Day of the Dead, which now is seeming to be building up to be a thing, and we've got some Day of the Dead decor that we've got, so that goes out just on the 1st, and then it's done. It's just like a thing you hang on the door. It's not like we're spending hours decorating. No, it's just a one thing that goes on the door, and then it's just the fall stuff, which is fine. We're talking hay bales, pumpkins, stalks of corn.
Yeah, I have like this straw turkey, like it's
that kind of stuff.
It's really cool, and I put him out until like Thanksgiving, and then
and you can mix Thanksgiving in there too at that point. When November 1st, starting then you can mix Thanksgiving in, and then after that, I think after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, then it's Christmas.
Yeah, so like sometimes if there's a good deal
the 26th, by the way, that's it.
I'll go Black Friday shopping, and then as soon as I get home, like I won't sleep. I'm like, it's Christmas, and I am pulling out totes upon totes, putting up 5 trees. My husband usually works that day, and he comes home and he's like, what the hell happened to my house? And I'm like,
I don't know. I like the Christmas stuff. I feel like it just, say what you want about Christmas and commercialization. If you like the holiday, you don't. I'm telling you, people are nicer when those holiday decorations are up. It makes for a pleasant experience, and I like having that at the house. I look forward to putting out Christmas.
It's more cheerful, right? Because it starts getting dark at like 5 o'clock, like right before Halloween, and you're depressed. Like I don't do winter well. I'm not a good winter person. And as soon as I can put up some Christmas lights and have a lot of decorations, I'm such a happier, nicer person for the month of December.
Yeah. So there you go. That takes us the full cycle. Yeah. So we're for the most part, we're okay. You and I would argue about a couple things. If you were my neighbor, I would yell at you. Right, or this time of the year I'd be yelling at you.
I know. Do you just do one Christmas tree, or do you do one in every room?
We used to do quite a few more. I think at our high point, I think we might have had 5 trees, but we're just down to 1 at this point. So just 1 tree is enough at this stage. So
I currently have 5.
5. Okay. Well, we were there at one point, McNew, and back when I had a young kid, and you want to, because we had one in the basement, and we had one up on the landing by her room, and we had one in the den, and so I
know, but like I don't even do it for the kid. I do it for me. They're all different themes, and I'm like, don't you dare touch it. Yeah.
So there you go. Oh well. There's the intro, just talking about holidays and stuff like that. But let's talk a little whiskey stuff. So, and you've told me before how you got into whiskey. You just tried it, and there's a boss, you're on a business trip, and you tried it, you liked it, and you started drinking it. But, how did you start to get into making whiskey more than just something that you drank? It's more than that, with people who are really fans like yourself and our listeners, people who listen to podcasts. How do you start getting more into it?
So I am notorious for jumping down rabbit holes, right? Like if I like something, like I need to know everything about it. I am like, I'm going to be on Wikipedia. I'm going to be on Google. I'm like, I need to know more. So I liked Maker's Mark. So then I went and learned everything I could know about Maker's Mark. It's the first distillery I ever visited, and it just takes off from there. It was like, this was great. What else could be great? And that's how I do it. That's how I do a lot of things. Like I host a podcast about serial killers. Clearly I like jumping down some weird rabbit holes.
Yeah, I just listened to a bunch of those. Those are fun, by the way. I'd saved up a bunch, and I tend to do that because they're short, and
they are very short.
I save them up. I bundle them and then listen to them while I'm driving. So
I would save them till I had like 30 minutes worth of them.
So that's what I was doing. So I was listening to those, and they're always fun for sure. So but so you get into the whiskey thing, you start going to distilleries, learning about them and all that. And then I reach out to you, and what were your thoughts on that when I reach out to you? Because I didn't know you. It's not like we were friends or talked or anything like that.
So at that point, I really had no life because I was like throwing myself into like this corporate career, like working 12 hours a day, had no life, had no fun. And then I'm just like, hey, this dude on Instagram wants to say, come on my podcast. And I'm like, what the hell's a podcast? But I said, sure, because I'm not doing shit on Friday nights because I'm so tired. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. So I was like, why not? What else am I doing except sitting on my couch with my cat? So I said yes. And then I guess the rest is history.
Yeah, so I asked you to come on, you did, and then I really liked what you did on the shows, and then I continued to. I believe I called you right after that, or texted you or something.
Did. Yeah, you called me immediately after.
Yeah, and I said, "Hey, we've got an opening, and I'd like you to come on and be a regular co-host." So
I was just like, I had so much fun. I was like, yeah, and then I was not doing anything on Friday nights at that point. I was just like, yeah, Fridays are fine. Let's go.
Yeah. Because I literally asked you, I thought there's no way, because all I knew about you, not a lot at that point. I knew you were, I don't know, 20s, age.
Probably like 27.
Yeah.
28. Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew you were in your 20s because how we first really, and again, I think we had followed one another, but we never interacted or anything, never chatted or anything like that. But somebody from Jefferson's, not Jefferson's the company, but their PR company that they worked with, were building this club.
Millennial people in their fan club or whatever.
Yeah, so they asked me, because I did the podcast. They're like, "Could you tell us some of your millennial users? We could target them to get in this club." And I was like, I don't know millennials, but I just looked on
not my demographic, but okay.
Yeah, I just looked started looking through followers and people who look to be that age, and just asked them if they wanted to join the Jefferson's Bourbon Club. So yeah, that's the first time that we talked, and then ultimately I asked you to come on the show, just as a one-time guest thing, and then you became a regular, and that's how we go from there. So yeah. It's just that simple, right?
Yeah, no, it's been what, 4 years? 4 years almost.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. So that's been really fun, and then you just started getting more involved. Once you got involved, you always said yes to no matter what it was we were doing. Whether I was like, "Hey, you want to come to events," or "Can you podcast?" And again, I couldn't believe you said yes to coming on. What I needed someone was for Friday nights, because we drink a lot. It's hard to have people commit to doing more than a couple shows during the week, because they got to go to work the next morning. But on Friday nights, they don't typically have that concern. Now, there are people that work different shift work and things like that. Right. But for the most part, people are available on Saturday. So we could do 5 shows. We got to do a daily show. So we got to come out with 7 shows a week. So
those early shows were so messy.
Yeah, you came on and you just thought it was a drinking party, as opposed to doing shows, and you forgot about the show part of it, and you would just get annihilated drunk, and sometimes fall off your chair. It
took me a long time to be like, oh, you can't do full pours on Friday nights. You got to be pretty limited here. It took me a while to learn that.
Yeah, and we're doing 5 shows. All that's real. We're drinking on there and all that, and typically, because we're doing cork pops and things like that, I mean, I guess you wouldn't have to. You could set it aside, but I don't know anybody that does that. I think that if we're a show that's more heavy on talking and we're chatting a lot, and you're not drinking, and I think at the end of it, everybody shoots it. Everyone shoots what's left in their glass, and then you get ready to do the next show where it's going to be a different pour and a different cork pop, and that's typically how we do it. So we're drinking. And then sometimes there's a show between the shows. Sometimes. Oh my God. Yeah. If you have a group of people that just like talking to each other, you're probably in between shows for like a half hour, and you're just drinking, talking like you're at a bar or something. And everyone's doing that. Yeah. So we do 5 shows, but we probably do the equivalent of 8 shows in a night, because there'll be these breaks where we have just a fun group and we'll just talk. And then the funniest thing about all this isn't always the way McNew. So we'll talk for half an hour, just about all kinds of stuff, about stuff that's going on in life and all this. And then I'll be, all right, let's do the next show. And I'll be like, all right, who has small talk? Who has something we can talk about? No one's making eye contact. They're not. Yeah. They're not. They're saying I don't have anything to talk about. It always is the funniest thing, isn't it? How that works out. It is. So I actually got to the point like where if something happened to me during the week, or I thought of something, I'd put it in the notes in my phone to be like, oh, that would be a good small talk. I started just saving random things because I never had anything. Right. Yeah, because there'll be times, and I don't do a good job of this, and I certainly can improve on that. But there'll be times when if you do what we do, you're like, oh, this would be a good small talk. And if you don't write them down, you forget them. Then you'll be like, wait a minute, a couple days ago I had a good one. I got to put this in my notes right now, or it'll be gone. It's like when you wake up from a dream and you're like, I have no idea what just happened. It's gone. Right. Yeah. Well, who's always good at that is Dana the Dreamer 6. She now always works on lists as she thinks of things.
Yes,
So
great.
she's good to have on shows because she always has topics ready to go. Unlike most of us. So yeah. And there's some people that are like, I don't do the small talk. I'm like, I never say anything. But in reality, what I'm thinking is, okay, you don't do the Bourbon Daily either.
Well, this is your last show. I hope
yeah. Let's get through these shows, and you don't have to worry about me asking you for small talk anymore. So yeah.
And then like some small talk is absolutely brilliant and insightful, and some is so stupid. But like I think that's the beauty of it. Like you don't know what you're going to get with a small talk, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I feel like our show is so unique and so different. While there's a formula to it in the way that we do it, that formula is meant to make things different each and every day. Not only, with the small talk, but by having different people on there. So we shuffle the deck, we record at least 2 times a week, sometimes more, and we have different people on every time. So it's not necessarily every show because we're recording multiple shows at a setting, but it means that we have a lot of different people that we work with. So that's kind of a cool aspect to it too.
Yeah. And I will say about our show is that we never get political about things. Like there's some shows that do.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Well, that ruined it for me or whatever. Like you don't want to like alienate people by being political. And I love that we never do that. Like I'm sure we all have our own opinions, but I love that they don't come to the show.
Yeah. I'm not downplaying the importance of talking politics and the issues of the day. I think that's healthy and that needs to be done. And I think that's one of the worst things that's going on in the country today is both sides don't talk. They just hate one another. And I think we need to get to a point where what's the common ground and we begin both sides talking. And so I feel like those things are important, but they're not important on our show. I want to be a thing where we can leave that aside because it can be offensive. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And I would be like, I can't believe you voted for them and I'm not listening to you anymore because that's how people get. And I'm like, I love that we don't bring that in and that we can just be stupid small talk and bourbon. Like that's all we want to do. Yeah.
So we that's one thing that we never want to be. We also don't want to be critical on anybody. I always feel like, everyone has a business and if they're making a product and there's fans of it and I don't particularly like it, that doesn't mean it's a bad product. That just means it's not for me. So, and I don't feel like I'm anybody important. So it doesn't really matter. I just should keep my mouth shut and people can, I just think we focus on the positive and that's who I want our shows to be on the network. So
yeah. Absolutely. Like I would never be like, oh, this product's trash. I mean, I could absolutely think that, but if you like it, good for you. Go buy more.
Yeah, it's because these companies do have fans and things like that. And sometimes it's not, you could say, well, the small ones, but sometimes it's the big guys and it's products that I know that other people love and it's just not for me. So, but again, who cares? It's not for me. And if I do say something, I can't say that I'm a positive, 100% of the time. It tries to be constructive in the way that I say it. Right. That's the way you got to do it too. I don't think anybody, even the major distilleries, expect you to like every product that they've ever created of all time. I think it's kind of part of the deal. You don't necessarily like everything. It's almost like the Bourbon Daily. I get it. Maybe we do a show that you didn't like, but you know what? Check in with us tomorrow because it's going to be a new day, a new show, probably new people.
It's going to be completely different day
to day. I love it tomorrow.
Yeah. Or something, but always different.
Yeah. So as you get into this, long term, what are your plans in bourbon? So it seems like you've struggled with job stuff and things like that. Yeah. What are your long-term plans with bourbon and what you're doing?
So I don't know because this is how I am. Like I typically just fall into things and they work out well for me or they work out and I move on. So like I don't plan and I'm just like, I would love of podcasting or whatever. It could be like a full-time job. It's not to that point for me. So I'm like, that's it. Or if it's writing something or whatever, like I would love to do that because I recently switched. I call them day jobs now. I'm like, this is my day job and it pays the bills, right? I don't care about it. Right. So I left the company because I was just like, it was going downhill fast and that writing was on the wall. And I was like, I can't be here any longer. It's not good for me. I complain about it all the time. I'm being really negative. So I went to another company, which the company is great. The job is not. I do not want to talk to these customers. This is not what I signed up for. So I'm also like, I've had like 2 different interviews last week to go somewhere else. I'm like constantly switching my day jobs right now. But I'm just like, if I could do like something like freelance where it's like, hey, like I ran your social media or I did some ads for you or whatever. Like if I could piece together enough freelance things to make what I need to make, that's absolutely what I would do full time.
Yeah. Yeah, the best advice that I can give you, and you're not asking for my advice, but I'm going to give it. You know, it is about revenue streams. So, I mean, I don't think when you're doing what we're doing, there's no such thing as this is almost like your job, and this is going to pay you for doing that. It's all about a lot of little things. How many different little things can you put together to become that? And did I hear you're writing something and stuff like that now? And
yeah, I want to kind of get into that a little bit, but it's one of those things where it's like, do I have time for it? Is this what I should be focusing on today? So it's really just a matter of making time for it.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think if you dedicate yourself and you come up with something, I can help you out with all of that and just to show you how to do it. And you can publish it yourself. And, you know, a self-published book, you make pretty good money with it. And you have a built-in audience. You have the net power of the network behind you. So I think you've got a lot of things going for you. And I think it's worth trying. And again, that would help you establish one of those revenue streams.
Right. And that's my thing where it's like, I want to be able to like, you know, that I sent you a lot of emails at like midnight. Like I want to be able to work at midnight. I want to work at 10 a.m. I want to work at 3 p.m. I don't want to be at a desk from 8 to 5 all day. Like I cannot do it anymore. Cannot. Like I just want to be able to do what I want to do and do it, but make money doing it. And I don't care if I have to do 10 different things. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and some of those things, if you do good and you write good stuff, it continues to pay you for years and years. And I don't know, that's one of the funny conversations we had recently. The warden was like, you know, long after you're gone, this account that you've got where all your book money and all that goes, money's going to keep going in there. And she's like, I told Kat she's going to have to deal with that. I'm like, deal with it. You're making money. What do you care? Deal with it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. The warden who's into accounting, you know, gets stressed out because then, you know, all these different revenue streams, you know, each one has its own tax consequence that you have to deal with. And she's like,
right.
You know, Kat's going to have to deal with that. Well, you know, it's worth dealing with if you're making money with it. So, be it.
It pays for itself in a way. So it's probably,
So, I don't know. I make a list. I always have so many lists going on of stuff I want to do. And I just, you know, I want to do more. And I do a lot, but I always want to do more, McNew. Everybody's like, you do so much and all that. I'm like, I'm not doing 100th of the stuff, the ideas that I've got.
I know. Like sometimes like I'll just like an idea will pop in my head. I'll be like, I want to do this. So I'll send it to you or whatever. I'll be like, I wanted to do the bourbon blind date thing, which I think is going to be super fun. I'm really excited about
people
that.
were talking to me about that at the Bourbon Festival. So that was kind of cool.
I'm so excited about that one. And it just pops in my head. And then like every other day, I'm just like, hey, Chris, I have this idea. And he's like, you do not need another project right now. And I'm like, no, I don't, but I'm going to. So.
One of the things, I don't know, and again, it's just a matter of time, but remember when we interviewed the game lady and she said she'd be interested in any ideas we could pitch? We need to come up with something. I love these passive income ideas where you come up with an idea, you give it to an expert like her and let her run with it. And then she just sends you the checks. Now it's obviously smaller checks than you get if you went through the whole process yourself, but I'm not a game guy. I'm not going to, find out where I get games made and all this.
And her quality is so good. Like it's worth it just to send it to her and let her deal with that.
Yeah. Just you sit back and collect checks. So stuff like that. Yeah. Think of those.
I thought about one though. So hear me out. Like I know this goes to like our private-ish channel, so it's not going to be public knowledge really, but like a bourbon shoots and ladders, right? So remember the game Shoots and Ladders, like where something good happens, you go up a ladder. If it doesn't, you go down the chute. So imagine you're opening a distillery. So it's like, hey, the TTB approved your label, ladder. Spilled the mash, shoot, like everything that could go right or wrong in a distillery, like do it like Shoots and Ladders.
Yeah. Like, but not Shoots and Ladders, mind you. For any lawyers listening, it's not Shoots and Ladders.
I think my niece has a game. It's called like something in snakes, where the
same type of concept.
Yeah, but it's like the generic knockoff thing. We'll have to name it something else, but
no, that could be good. I got the name for you. Master Distiller, because all these things all these things. If you start out, you're just a person distilling, but the good things happen. You're getting closer to being the master distiller. As bad shit happens, it knocks you back down. You're just a regular distiller. You're struggling, but then as you try to get that level. Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah.
Consider this. We own that thing now, or you do. It's for you, actually. So. That's
we
your
collaborated.
You heard it here. We broadcast it, so that means that McNew owns that. So
yeah.
So
that's my intellectual property now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because people do steal stuff. I mean, that was the funniest thing starting this. I had no idea, McNew. I swear to God, I'm just a guy who worked a corporate job, and I guess you're pretty insulated from things, and you just live your life, and you go to work, and they tell you when you go to work, and they control your life in so many ways, and they pay you, and they give you vacation time, and all these things that seem like they're great you got to have, and then you get out of it, and then you realize there's a better way out there. But and I forgot what I was going to say.
No.
There was some good point in there, McNew, that I was going to make, but it wasn't about all that stuff. It was going to circle back around. But at my age, this is the best I can do. Yeah,
I don't know. It's that corporate life. So I had a meeting with my new boss last week, and she's like, "You're doing such a good job. You're so great. What do you want from this company?" And I was so honest. I was like, "I want to get a paycheck and be left alone." And she's like, "You'd be so good at developing people." And I was like, "Nope, I've been there, done that. My last job sent me to Chicago so many times. It really did not pan out. It got me nothing, right? Like, I just felt like I spent a lot of time doing whatever they asked me, and it got me nothing in the end. I was like, I will never do that again. I was like, this is a paycheck until we pay off debt and my husband can just go to work. I was like, I don't want to be here.
This is the kind of honesty that I spoke when I had a corporate job. Yeah. After, I wasn't that way always. I swear to God, I was a guy trying to move up, and I was at one point, and then I got jaded. Because it wasn't going to happen for me. And
I was screwed. And I'm just like, I make the same amount of money, whether I kill myself or don't kill myself. So you're not getting that from me anymore.
Right. I get it.
Like, okay. She's like, but you've been doing a really good job. Like, we've thrown your name around to like some other managers and a president. And I'm like, don't.
Don't.
And I don't think she knew what to do with that.
Yeah. Well, they're so not used to that because they are used to, they give you a little nugget like that, which it probably doesn't mean anything. They probably hadn't talked to anybody, but that's just the way they are. They're always want to give you that dangle, that carrot of how good. I mean, they would get me to do all this crazy shit, like run all the sessions, all the breakout sessions. I'd have to do all of those. I'd have to negotiate with all the speakers. I'd have to set up the schedule and the times and fuck with all the stuff and work all my personal time to do that. Yeah. And then when the conference is going on, you're working basically 24 hours a day. You're there 5 o'clock in the morning.
Are a lot. You don't sleep. Yeah. And then I rebuilt our training program, and then they never promoted me to trainer. So I'm like, you just literally took my work and put somebody else's name on it. That's some bullshit. Yeah, and then you wanted me to drive to Chicago, which is 5 hours. And I did it for 6 weeks. And I'm like, I killed myself. And I'm like, never again. Just leave me alone and pay me. That's all I want.
Yeah. They think that, it's gonna help you, by telling you those things. But in reality, you're not getting anywhere. And that's what I realized that, they told me I was going to get promoted because I did all these things for the conference and all that. And I did it for like 15 years, and it never did a damn thing for me.
No, I did that all in 1 year. And then come December, they're like, well, we're eliminating your position. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I get this severance. I don't care. And then they're like, well, you can stay, but you can literally do the job you train people to do. And I was like, well, pay me what I'm making and don't demote me to their pay. That's fine. And then I did it and got bounced around to terrible managers. And I was like, I'm out. So I just can't do it.
Just can't do it. Yeah. The corporate life is really, really horrible. So yes, one of the best things that has been in my life has been starting this company and not have to deal with that stuff and finding the happiness to being able to do things. And then, if you work a hard day and you do extra things, you're doing them for yourself, it's not just someone else.
Right. And like you always say that like you work scared, but it's like, I feel like you've made it at this point. Do you feel like you've made it at this point?
No, I don't. I still feel like I got to work scared. I still feel like I got to push myself to come up with new things, because I want to stay ahead of everyone else. Just having, two of our podcast has to be number one when you combine the power of the two, even though we're not number one. But if you combine the Bourbon Show and the Bourbon Daily, I think we're number one, and we're not viewed that way, which is okay by me. And I guess we'll never get there where one of these shows will overtake, the big name that's out there. But I think combined, I think we got them, and you know what? That's fine by me. I'm happy with where we're at, but everyone has a podcast now, and it's just everyone.
So I noticed that, like, even the past 6 months, I'm just like, that dude has a podcast now. Everybody, like, they're a dime a dozen now, and it's like, it's a fight to stay relevant sometimes when there's so much just saturating that world.
Yeah, so that's why we keep doing new things, and I don't know. I think creativity is so important. And I have to laugh about this. Like, people like Becca, get mad at me, and why do I like to drive everywhere? I'm telling you, if a creative person, and as you expand what you do in the ABV network, McNew, you have to realize creativity is so important. And there's no better time for me than being in the car and driving, even if it's a 14-hour trip. I'm going to drive down to Key West next year. To me, I'm looking forward to that. For number one, I get away from all this crap that I do where I'm getting nonstop emails and texts and all that. I just kind of turn all that off and just think, and it's great. I come up with so many ideas.
So I think it's like a Midwestern thing, like where we like driving places, right? So it's like if you're a Midwesterner and you go on a vacation, like, well, it's only 7 hours. Well, you just drive.
Right.
But I like flying because I like getting drunk on my way to where I'm going, and flying is A+ for that. But I feel like going to the airport, going through security, I'm like, that is like, you got to get there early. I'm like, that is 2 hours that I could have been in the car already on my way there. Like, I feel like the airport eats up time in some way.
It does.
Yeah.
And I used to fly a lot. I was a guy who was out, 150 nights a year in sales. And so I flew around a lot. And, you do enough travel delays and things like that, those aggravating things that happen at the airlines. And it's like, to me, that aggravation isn't worth it. I'd rather control my own destiny, be in the car. I'm driving. I'm deciding. Sometimes you do things on the way to a place too. You stop in and see a friend, or you do something. So,
right.
I mean, I was laughing about all the places I'm going to be driving next year, because I was like, I think I'm probably going to have to get some new tires, because next year I'll be driving to Colorado once, maybe twice. I'll be driving to Maine. I'll be driving to Florida twice.
Maine.
Yeah, we're going to do the thing in Maine.
It seems like a long drive to Maine, though. It just seems.
No, Maine's not that bad. Maine, actually, Key West is way farther than Maine. I mean, yeah. So Maine to me. I can easily get up into leaving St. Louis, be up into Pennsylvania. Even in a short, 8-hour day. That's 8 hours of driving. I can get
the whole day. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get up to Pennsylvania, and then from Pennsylvania, spend the night in Pennsylvania, and then drive the rest of the way there. That's an easy trip in my mind.
So I was planning to, because I want to do the main thing. That sounds so much fun. So I was like, I'll just fly into Boston and then drive, because I want to do like the Lizzie Borden house and Salem before I get to Maine. But I was like, I'll just drive out of Boston. I'm like, I don't fucking want to drive in Boston. I don't like driving in cities. I'm like, could drive all the way in and just skip all of that and just, outroute it, I guess.
Oh, we'll have to look. Maybe if we can work it out. I hate going to Boston too, by the way. Traffic's so bad.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to drive out of that, in or around that city.
But maybe if I don't have to go to Boston itself to the airport. I mean, if you can get from the airport to wherever Lizzie Borden is, maybe I can. Yeah, that doesn't sound bad. Maybe I can pick you up there, and then we go on to Maine, and then I just bring you back and then I guess I'll have to go to Boston Airport on the way back.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Now that you mention it, I'm like, I don't even have to fly in. I could if you can drive from St. Louis, I can drive from Indianapolis. Like, that's not a big deal. Now that I think about it, I've never been to the Northeast, so I feel like it's further away, right? Like when I go, I go south. And I'm just like, it's no big deal to drive 12 hours to Florida, but it's a big deal to drive east because I don't know that.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you think. Well, one time, famously on Labor Day, because we used to go everywhere, and it's crazy because we wanted to go to all 50 states, and then you have some favorites, and we like to go back. Yeah. But one time we had a good time at Niagara Falls. We said we wanted to go again because we went there for spring break, and it was cold. and we wanted to get there when the weather was nicer. So over Labor Day,
oh yeah,
get off work on Friday. They got off a little bit of work early on Friday, so drove up to like Pennsylvania, spent the night, and then drove into Niagara Falls. Was there Saturday, Sunday, and then left on Monday and came back. And everybody's like, what'd you do this Labor Day? And they were talking about barbecue and all that. I remember the warden saying that she told him she went to Niagara Falls. They're like, what the hell? We saw you on Friday. You were here. You went to Niagara Falls?
Right. How did you do that?
Right. Yeah. Right. So no, this is easy. So well, it's if you don't mind driving, it's like I said, it's not for everyone. I wouldn't try to convince or talk people into driving because I know it's just not for a lot of people. But for me, man, it's whether opportunity to listen to some different podcasts and stuff like that. I like that idea. And not even in the bourbon world, just other things. Or this new thing, audiobooks. I'm definitely into those. Yeah.
Like, so I want to get into audiobooks, but like when there's a character, like I already like imagine their voice, and sometimes audiobooks ruin things for me.
Well, yeah, just be careful what you get, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to do audiobooks. I just can't. They just don't work for me the way they probably do.
Get the Libby app though. Here's what you do: get the Libby app, and then you have to get a library card. Now, I didn't have a library card, but I went to St. Louis County Library, and you can get one online. You don't have to go to the library or anything. You can get it online. And then you put in your library card information, and it allows you then to rent audiobooks. So there's no cost at all.
Oh.
So if you don't like the voice, you just turn it off or whatever. But yeah.
That's good. So I actually just got a library card because I read more than I think people give me credit for or even think about me reading. So I have a lot of books, and they just take up, like, you read them once, right? And then you throw them in a pile, put them on a shelf. And I'm just like, this is costing a lot of money to order them off Amazon. Then they just take up space. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this book now? Like, the chances of rereading it are very slim. Even if it's a great book, maybe your favorite book, probably not going to reread it a lot. So I'm like, I just have these shelves of books. And I'm like, man, I wish I could just rent them. And then I'm like, well, shit, that's what a library is for. So I got a library card a couple weekends ago.
Well, download Libby app, Libby, and we have no affiliation with them. We're not promoting anything, but I just think it's good. Use your library card, and it's all free. Don't pay for the app. Don't pay for the books. And I just on my last trip to Kentucky, which I'm just getting back from, I downloaded Seth Rogen's audiobook, which he reads, which is hilarious.
I would listen to that man read anything. I love Seth Rogen.
Yeah, his book's called Yearbook, and it's just stories from childhood all the way up to today. It's great. It's great. Hollywood Insider stuff too. Like, he talks about, a lot of times celebrities don't talk about one another in a negative way.
Right.
And he does some of that stuff. So he talks about, his meeting with like Nicolas Cage, and what that was like. Or George Lucas too. He's like, that guy's a nut. He goes into the whole thing of all this weird shit that George Lucas said when he met him and stuff like that. So
I would absolutely listen to this because I think he's hilarious, and I think he genuinely is a funny person. So just him telling honest stories would still be funny. I would absolutely listen to that.
Yeah. So that's a good one. So if you get that, check that one out. It's worth listening to. So yeah, I've just been doing a lot of that kind of stuff. So that's been kind of cool, and on trips, and drove down to Florida and spent most of the time on that trip just listening to audiobooks. So some history stuff and just mixing it up. Time goes by quick when you're listening to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So like, I'm weird, but like, I don't like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving because like Siri or whatever, like your navigation, it's like, she'll interrupt and I'll be like, you just interrupted. And now I don't know what happened and I got to start over. I cannot do it. So I'm usually just like,
you bring up a good point.
I'll make up a playlist and it's like me having a concert the whole time. I prefer music when I'm driving.
I do like music too. I've got a weird thing where I'll listen to the same song again and again and again.
Oh yeah. But I got to be by myself because I'm like, I don't need anybody judging me.
No one else judges you, but yeah.
Over and over.
Yeah. I listened to a song for like 3 hours in a row, riding back. The song "Paint It Black" by the Rolling Stones. I have no idea. I've liked that song forever, but I just I was like, I want to hear "Paint It Black," and I downloaded it. I didn't have it on my phone. I downloaded it on iTunes, and because I don't have the Apple Music I'm too cheap. And I downloaded that song for whatever it is, $1.29, and then just played it for 3 hours. I don't know why. I get stuck on something, McNew. I was stuck on that song. I was stuck.
I do too. Or like it's somebody's album or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm going to listen to this on repeat for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Until I get over it.
Right. Yeah. You have to get over it, and then you can move on. And definitely sometimes that happens. You get stuck. Yeah. I do. The one I was stuck on before that. You ever hear the song Cecilia by Simon and Garfunkel?
I probably, if I heard some lyrics, I would know it.
Breaking my heart.
Okay,
yeah. So I hear that song, and in that song, it's about his problems with a woman, and she leaves him, and he begs her to come back. He's begging, and then he has her over to his house, and he makes love to her in the afternoon, and then he goes away to wash his face. So I think that kind of gives an idea where we're going sexually speaking, and then he comes back and someone's taken his place, which is very bold considering it's at his house. It's very bold that she would take on another lover at his house. But I feel like the root of those problems is if you listen to the song, and this is what helps by listening over and over again. The song's Cecilia, but in the song they call her Cecilia, but he also calls her Celia, which is a different name. I know, one of the Warrens' relatives is named Cecilia, and then I have a friend who's named Celia. So to me, that's two different names. If you're calling her by the wrong name, that's maybe what's pushing her away.
You created that problem, my friend. Ew. That's problem. Don't do that.
Like you're not taking this relationship seriously. My name's Cecilia, and you're calling me Celia. Because they'll say, Celia, you're breaking my... No, it should be Cecilia, you're breaking my heart.
Yeah, he messed up. So...
Hey, this is Steve, and you're enjoying our special Chatting with week of the Bourbon Daily. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Kathy Cool, and I can't wait to pet your goat. And you're listening to the ABV Network.
I've been stuck on this song. I don't know if it's on Hulu. It was called Cruel Summer. It was like this series they did over the summer.
Okay.
About like this girl, she got abducted by a teacher. It was like this weird mystery thing. It was really good. It was like one of their fictional things. But they had a great playlist or a soundtrack to this show. And there was a song, it probably came out in the 90s. It was called Laid by a guy named James. And I don't, so I've been obsessed with this song and I listen to it like every day. But the more you listen to it, like the more the lyrics get fucked up. And I'm just like, this is a crazy story. So like, I love when lyrics can tell a story, right? Like,
I'll have to check that one out. It's not country, is it?
No, it's absolutely not. It's like this 90s alt rock thing.
Okay.
It's like he's dating this girl and his therapist is like, she's so bad for you, break up with her. And then he does. And then she breaks into his house and he's like, I thought I was sleeping alone. And then there you were. It was like, when you listen to the lyrics, it's wild. And I'm like, yeah, that made sense for that soundtrack. But
yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of your love for true crime, and it's funny now I start thinking of you in these terms. The story, and I don't follow this close enough. I don't know the name or anything like that. It was the traveler influencer who disappeared, and then her boyfriend has now disappeared. I assume you're really into this, right? And I saw there's only like podcasts on it, like multi-part pod. So people hear this stuff. They're combing through the news, and then they just start talking about it. This is how big this genre is these days.
Her name's Gabby Petito. It's very recent, and actually today, as we're speaking, Steve, her body was found maybe like an hour ago. There's already been posted about it. So so like rest in peace, Gabby. But I think he's highly suspect.
Yes, I would assume so too, but I assume. I don't know. We can't assume. I don't really know the facts of the thing. I just know from the high level. It's usually when things like this happen. It's usually the boyfriend or the spouse or whatever. So it follows along with that. Him disappearing doesn't seem like, whoever killed her is now killing him. It seems like you would disappear because you're trying to get out of there. Right. But I don't know. They were
from Florida and they were like in the Western U.S. national parks. And there was a police video in Utah where he'd hit a curb or something. They got pulled over for speeding. She was losing her shit, like really frantic. He was calm, like, hey, she's just having a bad morning. She grabbed the wheel. That's why I hit the curb. It was like on the police's body cam.
Okay,
so that video was wild. It was very insightful. And then like not too long ago, she goes missing. And he drives, it's her van registered to her. He drives her van back home to Florida without her.
Yeah.
So even if you're hiking and she goes missing, you're going to drive 12 hours home.
You're not going home. No, you're sticking around there. You're
it's
part of the rescue missions, whatever you can do to help out.
Yeah. And it was like he didn't seem concerned about her whereabouts or what had happened at all, right? Like, I feel like even if you murdered somebody, like you'd play along and be like, oh my God, they went missing. I looked everywhere. I can't find them. No, dude just like up and drives home like he's going to go home and have a normal life.
Right.
No. So, her body was found today and they did confirm it was her. So very sad. And
that's very sad, but
how like the court things play out and how the suspects come about. So
I would guess that we're going to see all kinds of stuff about this now. This is going to be all kinds of true crime podcasts. There'll probably be podcasts just about this. I mean,
sure.
I'm talking about, weekly things or daily, maybe as
like a whole series about it. Cause apparently like she very much wanted to be like a travel vlogger. Like she had her Instagram and her followers and he was like, you're never going to make it doing this. You're not going to make any money. And she was like, he's just not supportive. I don't know why he's here with me. And it just, they seem pretty toxic to each other. So I don't know, but I'm sad she's gone. It's very sad.
Yeah, it is very sad. Very, very sad.
Yeah. So a true crime, Steve, that's like, it's not really ancient history. It was early 2000s. Did you ever look into the Maura Murray case?
Maura Murray? No. What is that one?
She was like from Vermont, I think. Or somewhere on the East Coast, maybe Massachusetts. But she just like up and went missing. Like she wrecks her car. Her dad came and got her a new car. And then last thing she was saw doing was like buying some liquor and said she was heading to a cabin to meet some friends. Never showed up. Just like disappeared into thin air. Her car's never been found.
Wow.
So I'm just like, I think Maura just went and lived her best life off the grid somewhere. I think she's still alive, but some people don't.
Yeah. Don't you hope that, one of those is actually a happy ending like that? Someone who just was like, fuck it. I don't want to,
like
this life's too stressful.
A lot of stress in school. Like, she just said, fuck it. I'm going to go do whatever. Like, good for her.
Unfortunately, it never works out that way. It almost feels like stuff like this really shouldn't even happen anymore. Now, I get out in national park, there's not a lot of stuff around, but, it feels like in the cities, everyone has cameras. All businesses, all people's houses have cameras.
Every time I'm in a city, no matter what city it is, I assume I'm on camera in some way.
Right.
Like, I just assume I'm always being recorded in some way.
Yeah. I just watched a video on YouTube, but right before this, I watch YouTube all the time. And there's no rhyme or reason to what I watch, but I saw this one. It's like, if you own an iPhone, you should watch this, and you watch it. And they had 7 things you should turn off. And within that 7, there was, multiple things that you turn off, but it's all the ways that they track you and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah. If you download an app, they always ask, can you give us a rating for this? And you can turn all that stuff off. This was a great video. They tell you how to turn off all this shit that runs in the background all the time. Yeah.
Right. So it's weird how much it does. So like, my husband's a really big Cubs fan, so I just ordered him some Cubs merch for his birthday. Yeah. And now I get ads for the fucking Cubs that I don't even follow or care about.
Yeah. Like, supposedly the things we'll see how it goes, McNew. Supposedly the steps that I went through today watching this video, all that kind of stuff will end. Now, that doesn't mean I won't get bombarded by ads, but it's not going to be them peeking at what I'm doing and then trying to sell me the stuff that I'm looking at or whatever. It's just going to be random. And so we'll see how this goes.
Interesting. Yeah.
And
I Google a lot of weird stuff. So I'm like, I'm probably on some government watch list because I'll be like, that's weird and interesting. Let me learn more. And I'm like, I'm probably on so many lists.
Yeah. Don't you turn to that automatically? I do. Yeah. I Google it, or I go on Wikipedia.
Yeah. It's like, that's weird. Let me know more. Like, apparently, like, there's people in this world that can just be like, that's weird, and go about their day. I cannot.
Right. Yeah. There's some people that you're right. But then they really don't know what the hell's going on around them. They don't really know that much about life, really, because they're just insulated to just whatever interests them, and that tends to be not a lot of stuff. I try to know a little bit about everything. So
like that's the problem where like everything interests me for like a second, and then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna learn everything about it, then be done with it, and it just like stays in the back of my head at some point. So yeah.
Do you ever lose yourself in Wikipedia when you just start? I don't know. Like I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid, so I'll start looking up some of the wrestlers, and then you start clicking on. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy, and then you look. You got to see
where it's like another person and another person.
Yeah, it leads you to another one, and then you read their life, when they died or how they died. And it's like, holy cow.
Yeah. So like, you're not from a small town, but maybe you can also get it like in a small industry where it's like, okay, so I'm from a small town, so like I'm friends with so-and-so, and she'd just be like, well, I got divorced, and then like you go stalk her ex-husband, and like you end up on like his second cousin's page. I'm like, I Facebook rabbit hole too. I'm like, you just put everything out there.
Yeah, that is a weird thing about I'm not that good at using Facebook famously, but every once in a while you'll think of somebody, and like my old college buddies. Unfortunately, I had these friends in college that you think you're just going to be friends with forever, and I'm really not friends with any of them now.
Right.
But I spent the day, going back, and they're all kind of out there. They're all doing it looks like they're doing pretty good, and of course everybody looks like they're doing good on Facebook. So
of course, their best foot forward out there.
Yeah.
I like the people that are not doing good on Facebook. The ones that like whole rants and they're tagging everybody. I'm just like, oh, who's your cousin? And they're going on whole rants. Like, that's probably a small town thing, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's stuff. I think my mom would be really into that, but she won't get on there. So
I think she'd love it. She would love it.
She would. She gets angry about that because she says no, she wouldn't, because then I think she thinks I'm judging her. But you know what? That's what she did my whole childhood. She would sit on the fence talking to Joyce next door, or the two ladies behind on the fence, or the lady to the right, Connie. She spent her whole life gossiping and then she come in, she tell me, hey, so-and-so's got arrested, or, their kid did this, that's all she would do. She would do, Facebook was peaking by talking to other people, and they would all share what they have. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So my Aunt Jane was the same way, which is my mom's sister. And my mom was always like, your Aunt Jane won't get on Facebook. And I tell her to all the time. And I'm just like, yeah, she would love it. She loved talking about people. It's what she did for a living. It's what she did growing up, was talk about people. But then I asked her about it. She's like, well, that's literally all I would do all day, and I'd never get off of it. So I just can't. And I'm like, well, at least you're honest with me.
That's a good recognition of a potential problem and avoiding it.
Yeah, so, she just knows. She knows that's all she would do.
Yeah. Hats off to her. I think that's pretty good. So
yeah. That's very honest of you.
Yeah. How about the Bourbon Talk Show? We started that. We're in season 2. That's going pretty well, isn't it?
Yes, I think I love the Bourbon Talk Show. Like, we get some of the best guests, and I feel like they share information they don't share on other platforms. So I think we get some scoop on the Bourbon Talk Show. I love it.
I do too. I think it's much more personal than anything else that I see out there. In terms of the interview, they'll come on your show or your podcast, and they'll talk about the latest release from the distillery and those type of things. They'll talk about their career history, but on ours, we kind of get into more just who you are as a person, and I like that.
I think that's it. Like, we get to know them on a different level, and I think it's special, and I think nobody else gets to do that. I love that. Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing that we do. Another really cool thing, and this is kind of where we envisioned it to be. I didn't know it was going to happen that quickly. The first year when we went down to Key West, and that was a man, a plan, an idea, Panama, one of those things, or whatever the hell that is.
That was a Panama.
So we decided we're going to go to Key West, and I think that's going to be a really cool thing. We could turn this into an industry thing, and actually no idea, no expectations. We go down there and it's the greatest time, and it's exactly that. And you look at all these, there's a table, and here's, Royce Neely and Steve Beam and, these other people from the industry, and they're talking about how they can collaborate and do these things. And it's like, this is what we wanted it to happen. We want to create friendships.
Literally just magic happened. Like, you came up with like this great fun idea, really no expectations, and magic happened. And it was the best time.
Yeah. And then we think, well, now this is just the beginning. And then next year, this thing's going to, get way bigger. And then I think in year 3, it's going to explode.
Right.
And of course, year 2 is COVID. And we still had a small group go down, and the tradition was continued. There was a distiller summit last year with only about 6 or 8 people, very small group. But now, so it didn't, and it looked like this could be the beginning of the end, because, how do you recover from that? And then here we are in year 3, and it's kind of exploded on us. We've got 65
there
people
was so much unknown last year. So this year is going to be fantastic. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's really cool, and we're working on some cool stuff behind the scenes to do what we can. Again, a big group, it's going to limit what we can do, especially because there's 2 more big events going on down there, so that are bringing in a lot of people. That takes up resources, restaurant space, and all those type of things. So I don't know that we'll get to do a whole lot together as a big group, but I think we're going to work on doing some things like that.
Well, that's what's cool about Key West, though, because you can split off in little groups and still have the time of your life. Like, I don't think things have to be a big group.
I agree. And, what's cool about Key West is, in reality, it's a 1x3 island, 1 mile by 3 miles. So it's very small anyway.
Oh, tiny.
And then when you look at the really fun places to go, where you're going to go and hang out, that's even smaller. And you know what? Even if you're not hanging out at every spot, you can break into smaller groups, go to different places, and you're going to see the other people. It's going to feel like you're together anyway, even if you're not hanging out during the course of the day. So, yeah, and I think we're going to have to do that, and people are going to have to understand that. It's not like we can walk in and say, okay, we need a table for 65.
No, that's absolutely not going to happen anywhere. So I think knowing those expectations, you're not disappointed. So
yes,
you're going to have fun with the group you're with, no matter what, and it'll work out.
Yes. So I'm trying to really tighten that up. Information should come out on that very soon. Just working on some of these events that we are going to do, and have the full details, and do the first email about the Distiller Summit. And then, of course, there'll be more to come after that. But I just want to start laying some of that groundwork. This is kind of how this works. Make the most of it yourself.
Right. And, and there's so many things you could do on your own. Like if you're like, hey, I don't want to go to the Little White House. I don't like history. I just want to get drunk on Duval Street all day. Go do that.
Yeah.
Go do it. Live your best life. Right.
Yeah. Or someone's down there and being like, I don't know the next time I'll get back here. I want to go to that Dry Tortugas. That's like a day-long trip. Do it. Go ahead. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're not missing anything.
Right.
We'll be having fun before you go. We'll be having fun after you go, and we'll see you when you get back.
Like it's your trip, and we'll meet up with you at some point. Have the best time. Do what you want to do.
Yeah, make sure that you're doing what you want to do for sure. So. I think that's important. And I do think that's about communication, because I just don't want people to show up, not have any plans, and then look to me as like, okay, what are we doing now?
Yeah, like you're the whole tour guide the whole time. No, you don't want that.
No, I don't want that. I don't like that role anyway. I have to do that in our role for some things, but not on this one. I feel like people have to do their own thing. I just can't be their tour guide. And I always my standard line is you get what you pay for, and they don't pay to come on this trip.
Right. So you pay for nothing.
For nothing. So you're getting $0 worth of support from me. So that's
right.
You're
exactly. But highly recommend, if people can still stay at the hotel, stay at the hotel, because breakfast time was the best time if you made it to breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast is great. End of evening is great too, kind of gathering up after everyone's had their day.
Congregation space. So stay there if you can, or come by there even if you're not staying there.
Yeah, because we separate, and then it's good to get back together and and kind of rehash what was going on that day. So that's certainly some fun.
Yeah. Then Stephen Beam and Stephen Fonte had the whole Bloody Mary bar,
hospitality suite. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's the best. So it should be fun. They're going to be back again this year, so looking forward to hanging out with those guys, and a lot more people too. A lot of big names coming this year. So just actually Lisa Wicker is the latest one. So.
Oh my gosh, I want to hang out with her so bad. Like, I love her.
She loves the ABV network. She absolutely loves what we do. Listens and follows all this stuff. It's great.
Love her so much. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to see her.
Yeah. I don't think you have any idea how people love you, McNew. I don't know if you know that.
No, I interact with a lot of people, but like I just think they're like superficial like interactions sometimes.
Oh, people really like you a lot. I think that's heartwarming to me when they come up to me and talk to me about you and how much they like you and stuff like that.
I love that. I need that. That's cool. Great.
And then I met, of course, the couple that looks like they're out of a toothpaste commercial. And of course I knew we were really good.
We love them.
But Jen, that's the first time I met Jen. And yeah. Absolutely. It looks like two models together, Don't
they? Like, I love them both so much. They're actually both great human beings, but like when you see them, like you're just like a little bit mad about how pretty they are. Like, they're gorgeous human beings. They're good people. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah. So.
And I told them both that they both look like they should be in Crest commercials. So
right.
How I feel.
Yeah, so it was good finally meeting Jen. I've known her for a long time. And matter of fact, Andrew met her through us,
Yes. Look, another love connection, Steve.
That's another love connection.
Calling as like a matchmaker. Like,
I guess so.
Boys, you have Andrew and Jen.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah. Who's next? Yeah, that's the question. So yeah. I've got a story. It'll have to be offline though.
Okay. I love a good story.
No, you're up to date on that one.
That was a very got that story out.
Yes, yeah. Shocking things happen. I'll tell you what, it's such a big group. There's bound to be weird things that happen, right? There's so many people that are involved, whether you're talking about the staff, and then you got the fans and the super fans, and so there's always going to be weird stuff happening.
You know what? And there's alcohol and there's adults. Dumb shit happens.
Dumb shit happens. Yeah.
It's fine.
It is fine. So, yeah. But I'll tell you what I've heard a lot about too is the superfan certification thing. So
people love. Okay, so I actually finally had time to listen to it the other day. I loved it. People loved that they were even considered in it. It was well received by so many people.
Yes. So that got to me. we do these things and I got a million things going on. So I don't think that much through them. I think, oh, this is our certification and this is how we're going to do it. And then I start thinking, how should we do this moving forward? Because there was a lot of talk about it. There was happiness for the ones that made it. Sometimes there was anger, but it was more like faux anger, like people.
Yeah, there was nobody was actually.
I don't think anybody was actually pissed off, which was good.
I feel like though, Steve, you should do a special edition coin that just says certified superfan.
Really?
Just for the ones, just a coin, like just for the ones that make it, like mass produce them for years to come. So you should do that. I think that would be cool.
Certified superfan. Yeah. Oh, that should be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to do it now every January, which means we're going to come back pretty quickly. But then I think then we'll do it every January. So it'll be the same format. 8 more people will get inducted. 1 more will make the Hall of Fame. And then every January after that, 8 more go in and 1 more into the Hall of Fame. And then we'll do that until we feel like, hey, we've kind of hit everyone. But hopefully there's always new people coming in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just feel like this past year alone, we've collected so many new people or people we've already had that got more involved. And I think that's great. Like when you're already around, we know you, but then you get more involved and you're really part of it. I think that's so special.
Yeah. You hate to say anything good happens out of COVID, but in reality, a lot of good stuff happened to us out of COVID.
It did. Yeah. Like our little network, the virtual events, like the hangouts, like so many good, we connected, I think, on another level that we would have never thought of.
Yeah. And sometimes it amazes me, people don't take advantage of things as much as they should, but, for crew club members, we do the occasional happy hour, which is fun. We also do every 2 months, we do a game night, which is amazing. Evan Van Scoy does that. It's great.
More fun than happy hour. Those game nights are a blast.
Yeah, they are. They're Evan Van Scoy. If you don't know who he is, he's in the talks for a super fan. He hasn't got certified yet, but I'll tell you what, he does such a great job, and he makes the games fun, and it's eye opening to play that because it's kind of competitive, but not overly competitive. It's just fun.
And there's so much admin work in the background to make these games work virtually. Like props to Evan because he does a lot to make those work. Yeah,
he's definitely into that. So it works out. You've got someone with a great skill that wants to help out and do that. So we give him a platform where he can be game host. And yeah. It's weird. He's like really into board games. He has a huge, like a big duffel bag.
I've heard it's in his trunk, right?
Yeah, it's in his trunk. It's like I have like 40 different board games in it. It's huge. It's like an army type of duffel bag, so pack everything.
I would honestly love to see Evan get pulled over. I really don't want to see Evan get pulled over, but I would love to see him get pulled over and be like, "Sir, why is there a duffel bag in your trunk?
Is there a body in there? What's in there, sir?"
And can I search it? And he's going to be like, "Yeah, no problem."
Just board games. Yeah, it's all board games.
Like the cop's expecting a body or something terrible.
And I always think it's going to suck because he had that one game that was called Werewolves, and I forget what else. That was so fun. Yeah.
And I was just like, a lot of them I go and I'm like, what the hell is this? I guess I'll figure it out. And I was skeptical about Werewolf. And I was like, that turned out to be the most fun game.
That was a fun game. And then last time we played a game called Listography. Never heard of it. It's a board game where he just kind of changed the rules a little bit to make it for a big group. And it was a hell of a lot of fun. So much so I bought the game myself and I played it with 2 different groups.
You took it to play with like Becca and Royce, right?
Yeah. And they had a great time. That was fun. And then my sister was in town, so it's always difficult what to do with her because she doesn't like really anything. And, my mom's always up for anything. Whatever gets the family together, she's into it.
Yeah.
But I got my kid who, doesn't like to do it. But we go over, we play a round of Listography and everyone had a good time. It was fun.
Right. Yeah, that game is super fun. I might actually buy one for like our next family things.
You should. I'll tell you what, it's discontinued, so it's getting hard to find. But if you go on Amazon right now, it's normally was like $24.95. They're clearing them out for $15, including shipping. $15.
That's great. That game is endlessly entertaining. That's a great game.
Yeah.
So actually, like we could play that with my mother-in-law too, because like she gets super judgy. Like I have the kind of family we can play Cards Against Humanity with. Right. My mother-in-law is not.
Yeah. No.
I'll play that with her probably and still have fun.
My mom is how old is my mom? 76, 77. And she had as much fun as any of the rest of us. As a matter of fact, for a short time, she was leading. About halfway through the game, she had the lead. So she ended up not, my sister won, which, was cool. But my mom actually had the lead. So it was fun, and I came in second. I ended up passing my mom but came in second to my sister. So it was cool. Everyone kind of had a chance at one point.
Right. Yeah. That game was super fun. Like Evan introduces us to a lot of cool, fun things.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's a really good guy. And again, he's a guy who I've known for a long time, but in the last year, we've gotten to be really good friends. And some of that's COVID type of stuff. Like I said, doing the online events and, hanging out with him at, he goes to Still 630. So I see him there too. So yeah, it's been good. It does feel like what we have, McNew, is a family. I mean, it really feels.
It is. Like, I genuinely care about, like, I don't know, the Robinsons, the Ewalds, Kevin Majors, like so many other people that I should be naming, but the list is endless, right? Where I'm just like, oh, you had a grandchild, you went on this trip, I'm so happy for you. Like, I love seeing what goes on in their lives. It's amazing. It is very, very cool offshoot of doing what we do. So yeah, I definitely like that. And yeah, everybody's just doing their own cool stuff. So it's cool to see them do that. And they share it with us, which is very special. Right. Yeah. So, and our YouTube channel is growing. It's growing at a very nice rate. I actually looked at that the other day. We have like 500 some, maybe more now. Followers. Maybe, more now. So yeah, it's coming together very nicely. And I always think you should do a YouTube channel. Why don't you do a YouTube? You're looking for different ways to. Yeah. So I've thought about it, but I'm just like, about what though? About what? About the McNew life. I think you're that interesting. I'm not. My daily life is very boring and chaotic. I think it's a little bit of everything. It's the quick check-ins. I think that's what we're doing good at, is that content of that, and it's just a matter of shooting a video and then posting it and then coming up with the big thing is the opening screen there, whatever you call it, the thumbnail. Yeah, that's the big thing now. So usually, like, I wake up at like 5:30, make Chris get out of bed, send him to work if he didn't go in at 1:30. So I'm just like, wake him up. I'll sleep till 7. And then I'm like, okay, puppies need to go out. So I take my dogs out. And then I get in the shower, do all my shit. Then I go to work, go take my dogs out, maybe start day drinking because I get very bored. And then I'm like, my days are not that exciting. Well, I mean, during that, you could do letting the dogs out. See, I mean, they're always characters. You got a shitload of them, so that's interesting. Sosa's pretty entertaining most of the time. You could do that, and then you could do whatever you're drinking. You could talk about that. Hey, this is what I'm drinking. And so just kind of a McNew lifestyle page, I think would be a hit. I could be like, every time I decorate something, I'm definitely drinking. I'm like, you can do some crafts and some cocktails or something. Yeah, crafts and cocktails. There you go. McNew. Yeah. The new McNew show. Yeah, that would be something. Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever come up with any ideas, TV stuff or stuff like that? I've been working on a lot of our video production company is up and running, and we're doing a lot of stuff again. You ever come up with any ideas for that? So I had one forever ago where I think we should go to liquor stores and be like, hey, dude, if I hypothetically gave you $500 today, what are you going to pick off these shelves, bourbon-wise? But we'd have to go to liquor stores and like interview people. But I think that would be a cool thing to do. Okay. And what is the value for them of doing that? They get to be on our YouTube page. They get to be on the show. Okay. Good for you. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. We could do that. Yeah, like I feel like bourbon nerds, like if you walk in an aisle and see a guy looking at bourbon, like this dude already thinks like, I wish I could buy this. I wish I could buy that. Like these bourbon guys have a list in their mind, right? They all do. Right. They have their unicorns. They say, if my wife wouldn't kill me for spending $500 today, I would buy this or I'd buy 5 of those. I want to go talk to those people. Okay. What if, I'm getting ready to open a liquor store. And if this happens, I was still working on it, but you're close, right? Very close. Yeah. Financing is the last big obstacle here. So we got to get through all that. But once that happens, I'll have a liquor store that could be home to this show.
And that would help us out, I would think, as a company, knowing that you might be asked. But we bring you in town, a couple weekends a month, and we film that.
Right.
You approaching people, having a conversation, and then we could even like run it through the register and see how close they get to the $500.
Oh yeah, I like it. That's even better.
Yeah.
It's almost
because it's our store, we can do that kind of stuff, and then because I think it's interesting because like when I go in, like sometimes I'm just going to look, or sometimes I'm like I'm just buying some larceny or like whatever, like maybe some old Bo 1920, whatever's there. Like I never go in looking for something special because that's just how I do bourbon, right? But people do go in looking for special things very often. Yeah. And they're just like, if it's at this price, I'm getting it today. I'm going to ask that guy what's in the back room. I never ask what's in the back room, but a lot of people do. So I just want to meet these people and get in their heads. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that could be a show. Yeah. McNew show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what celebrities have you met in your days? Anybody?
Like bourbon celebrities, or
like real celebrities, like you see them on TV or movies. Have you ever met any, or sports figures? You ever meet anybody?
I don't know. I don't think I have. I really don't think I've met anybody like famous.
Really, I've met a lot of people. I guess I never thought about it, but I've met a lot of people through the years. Whether it be at the airport, met a lot of people at the airport.
Yeah. So do you actually go up and talk to them, or you just like let them be normal human beings? Because I never want to go up and like make somebody uncomfortable.
No, I think for the most part, I've always let them just be normal human beings. Though I've wanted to say things. Yeah. The craziest one, because I was an unbelievable football fan. And at one point, I'm not a football fan at all now, but at one point I was. And Kurt Warner, who was the king of St. Louis at that time, because we had just, come out of nowhere and won a Super Bowl. And, that next year, so Kurt I see him in the airport.
Oh, yeah.
And I just instinctively start yelling Kurt because I wanted to talk to him. He just put the head down and just kept going. So, I didn't talk to him, but I did see him.
I feel like the famous adjacent person I know is a guy named Austin, and he plays pedal steel for the Cody Jinks band, which doesn't mean shit to you, Steve. You don't care about Cody Jinks. You don't even know who he is. But he's a really big deal in like the red dirt country world.
And you know this guy?
I know his pedal steel player. I know Austin. He follows me on Snapchat. He follows me on Instagram. We've had some decent conversations sometimes. I've given him some bourbon recommendations. So I feel like we're friends.
Trying to think if I've talked to any celebrities via social media, because I'm not really big into social media. I don't really think so. Dana Carvey followed me on Twitter, which I thought was cool.
That's cool.
That was a big.
I feel like Dana Carvey's a little underrated. I like him a lot.
He is really good.
Doesn't get the recognition he deserves.
Yeah. And then on Instagram, Jennifer Lexington follows me, and I don't know who that is. She was on one of those housewives type of shows where
I don't know.
It looks like but not on one of the big ones. But she was on one of those type of shows on a smaller network. I don't know who she is, but
I have no idea.
Yeah, I had asked her to come on a show. She never responded, so I thought.
You know what would be a fun show, Steve, if you could get people to do it? The Real Housewives of Bourbon.
Well, so who could I have on there? Are you looking like Eddie Russell's wife?
Yeah, you could have Kay. You could have Becca.
You could have Becca. Yeah, Kay is too shy. She doesn't. Which surprises me.
That is surprising.
She's like incredibly shy. Yeah.
I would love to have Jimmy Russell's wife on there. What is she doing?
Oh, she's cool. Yeah,
I love her. She likes people.
Joretta. She's usually hanging out with Jimmy. So
yeah. Could have.
I was excited to see this. Actually, I saw Jimmy was out signing some autographs this past weekend at Wild Turkey, which I was happy. Yeah, because I know for a while COVID they didn't have him doing any of that kind of stuff, and it's like it's kind of sad. The guy just wants to talk to people.
Right. It kind of cramps his style because he loved being out there signing autographs, talking to people.
That's when you're 86 years old or whatever he is. that probably means a lot. That interaction, that personal interaction, and talking to fans, and keeps the mind sharp.
Yeah, like
they say just sitting at home is worse
that. Yeah. That interaction is like what keeps people going. Like,
right.
Let that man talk to some people. We need him.
Yeah, exactly. So, you sent Sandy. No, she's great. She would actually be really good. Now, she is very outgoing and fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You could just piece together some Real Housewives of Bourbon. I don't know. Like, I love reality TV. I know it's all scripted and it's all bullshit, but I love trashy reality TV. Real Housewives of Bourbon.
Yeah, the funny thing about reality TV is, if you get in a show, you like it, but people who don't watch it absolutely hate it. So,
because they don't understand it. They don't get the appeal. Like, I don't watch it because I'm learning anything. I watch it because I'm exhausted and I'm just like, oh man, their drama is way much more fun than my drama. Like, let me jump into that for an hour tonight.
Yeah. So do you watch Big Brother? Because that's the one that I watch. That, is a guilty pleasure.
I did, but I don't watch it consistently anymore.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So I love the season Elena Davies. I think Elena Davies is a little dull, and I haven't watched consistently since her season, which I don't even remember when it was. It's been a while.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is what I like about that show. Is I'm big into being able to read people, and I love that at the end of the day, you do get to see how people really are. They try to mask it. They try to be, hey, I'm here. I want to help you. I want to be your friend. But at the end of the day, it's all gameplay and it's all about the money. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And these people that, act like they're close to you, believe me, they'd cut your throat if it gets them one step closer to the finish line. So I love how that plays out. I also like the fact with Big Brothers, I could actually do that one. I watched Survivor, but I don't like that one as much because I knew I couldn't last in that show. I couldn't be outside dealing with the dogs.
I'm going to get uncomfortable on a day and be like, fuck it, send me home.
Right.
I don't want Survivor. I have no will to survive. Like, send me home. I have no will.
Right. So I don't think that that would be good. I always feel like I'd be good at Big Brother and stuff like that because of the fact personal relationships wouldn't mean anything to me on the show, or even people will do dumb things because they want to get a message from home and all that. I would be like, you know what? I'll talk to you guys at home when I get home. I just want to play the game.
Right.
Yeah. Or they'll be like, they'll be doing a challenge. They'll be like, you can have a peanut butter sandwich if you quit right now. And people will be like, oh yeah, I'll quit. And then they get voted out. It's like, no, that would never happen.
No, that's not it. No, not it.
Yeah. I'll quit when you drag me out dead out of there. That's when I'll quit.
Yeah, I like the strategy of Big Brother. Big Brother is fun for that reason.
Yeah. You need to get back into it. Season's almost over though, but they're having the celebrity one in the winter this year, so you'll be able to watch that.
I don't know, maybe Elena got back in that one. I'll watch it if Elena's in it.
So celebrities are interesting because their definition of celebrity, it has to be a celebrity that is willing to go on a trashy reality show. So
I know.
They don't get the A-listers. They don't get the
You're like maybe on the C list right now. You haven't had a movie, you haven't had a song in 5 years. Like,
yeah, if they can get someone on the C list, they're happy.
So I used to love Dancing with the Stars because they got like some high profile people. Now it's like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, are you a star? Who are you?
Right. Yeah. Well, they got to explain who the person is. So,
I know. Yeah. So I'm going to take my actual McNew pee break that I take every recording session. I'll be right back.
Well, welcome back. Through the miracle of editing, we can cut all that out. So it's just
good.
Audio. Yeah, I can't really cut anything out on video because I learned how to edit one video. I edited a video and I watched on YouTube how to do it. And then I went to edit another one and I forgot everything. I was like, I don't want to watch YouTube again. So I quit editing anything because I'm not that smart. I'm 53. Yeah.
Get those, I guess.
Yeah. It's like I thought I would remember everything because I did it one time and it didn't help. So it didn't take. Yeah.
I learn a lot of stuff on YouTube. Like it can be like, I need to know how to do this today. Just watch one video and I'm like, I'm an expert. I'm not. Yeah. It empowers you though a little bit.
Everything is on YouTube, so if you're looking to do something, someone out there has a video on how to do it, which is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Are you going to have any self-help things like that on your YouTube channel?
Maybe. What do people need to know? What would somebody learn from me if you said
how to build a pumpkin, whatever it is, arch that you just built. Yeah,
so easy. So you get some chicken wire. It comes in a roll. You measure it to what you need to be measured to. Then you get you some zip ties. Zip tie those fuckers together after you cut them, and then you get command hooks too. They're up there with command hooks, which is surprising how well those stay. And then I actually had to hot glue them to the brick. So like literally I can do anything with like command hooks and hot glue and zip ties. Let me know.
Well, what happens at the end of the season? Is it going to stay glued to your house?
So actually 2 years ago, I hot glued command strips above our garage for our Christmas lights. Those stay up there year round. They have not melted off yet. Those are solid.
Those are solid. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to the good folks at 3M. On the fine product.
Yeah, thanks guys for that. Yeah, but no, I'll probably pull these down because they're around our entryway. But I don't know, unless I find a reason to make an arch for every season, which I'm sure I won't. But
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah. So this would have been like a $20 project because I got the chicken wire from my mom, right?
Okay,
and I'm like, that was free. It's from my mom. She had it, and then I was like, I'll just go to Dollar Tree and get these garlands. Grossly underestimated the amount of these I would need. Sent Chris last night, like man's a saint for doing whatever I asked him to. We probably spent like $70 on garlands just to make this thing look full. I'm like, this was like a $20 project. Don't come to me for budget advice.
$70 project.
Which isn't bad for what it turned out as. But
now, what's it going to look like though after the first time it rains?
I don't know. It's supposed to rain tonight, so I'm real interested to see what happens.
yeah. TBD on that one, I guess.
Yeah, but so the buckets are open, right? They're just like those Halloween buckets, but they're mostly they're still kind of under the roof, so I hope they don't get full with water because that would be problematic.
They have holes at the bottom, don't they?
I guess I could drill some in. These don't.
Oh, they don't? Oh, I thought
No,
they always had a
they're
hole.
like the old school candy buckets. These don't have holes in the bottom.
Okay, well, you may want to drill some holes depending on the level of rain you're getting.
Guess that's what we'll do. I didn't even think about it.
Well, and the problem is, I don't think they get full, but what sort of weight? I mean, that many pumpkins times, it could be pretty heavy.
It would be a problem because I have lights I was going to add, but the lights added too much weight. So I'm just going to do candles in the buckets, or fake candles, LED candles.
Right.
But yeah, so the weight would be the problem.
Yeah.
This is not going to be good for me. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
With something tonight, I don't know.
Yeah. So, who are your favorite of our guests that we have? And I'm talking about our regular guest hosts. I mean, the show when you and I are doing is you and me, and then 3 other people typically is what we have. We usually have 5 people on the show. So, who do you like podcasting with?
So, I think Dana the Dreamer 6 always brings a cool perspective, right? Like,
right.
I typically bring things from like out of left field. She's like in lefter field. So I love a Dana perspective sometimes.
Yeah. Do you ever notice when she talks, it's like she sings? So.
Oh yeah. Her voice has this cadence. Like it's this beautiful Southern accent. I love Dana.
And everything seems to be measured out. I think she just does this automatically in her mind. And it's hard for me to do an impression of it because I can't really do it. But, I ask her, what do you think of Jack Daniels? Well, I'm a Jack Daniels fan, and kind of local distillery. Everything seems to almost be measured out, the same amount of syllables, and it's said in this super sticky, sweet voice.
I think she's so funny because like her voice is so sweet, so she can say something that's like kind of shitty, but it's funny because she's so sweet. Like I love Dana.
Right.
Katie Joyce. Katie has some of the best small talk, but Katie knows her bourbon. Katie's
good.
On point in so many ways. I love Katie.
I do like having Katie around. She's on a lot of shows because she's good. Yeah. She brings it every time she's on. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many that are great, right? Like Nate Weingar is great because Nate's funny when he wants to be funny, or he just hangs back and like throws something out occasionally. And I love Phil. Like I know Phil's a lot sometimes with his impressions. I love when Phil's on. Phil is fantastic.
Yeah, Phil. Yeah, he's definitely good. He needs to have his own bus. He needs to buy a bus and do tours.
He absolutely does. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand why he doesn't. So I know he does the bike thing, but it seems like there'd still be time in there to do tours.
Yeah, I feel like the bike thing is like probably seasonal. He probably has time to do off-season tours or something. I don't know.
Right.
Phil, I think, is like peak entertainment. If you want to be entertained, just talk to Phil Collin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a unique perspective on things where he has a tour guide perspective. I feel like he picks out things that are interesting that you might just not even think about if you're
right. Or I wouldn't even notice. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that is really cool.
He's got a good eye for that stuff. So yeah, he's missing his calling, not being on a bus right now.
We should get the man a bus. Man needs a bus.
Check out our Phil Collin GoFundMe page, and you can contribute to Phil getting a bus.
Also, that we can use for whatever events we want to use it
Exactly.
for. There's a caveat.
We got to be able to use it for our events. So yeah. Yeah, you and I talked a couple years ago about doing like a Halloween tour, and I still think that's a good idea. I think we should. Do too. Yeah, we should.
I would love, because I feel like there's like a lot of bourbon history runs into a lot of ghosts, and I think a lot of that could play in, and that would be just fantastic.
Yeah, and use our connections to get some cool behind the scenes stuff. I don't know. Needs to happen. Needs to happen for sure.
It does. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. And that would be a highlight. So anything else, McNew? What do you want to know about me? You and I are good friends, but anything you want to know about me?
Yeah, so you've been traveling a lot lately, and then who have you met lately that you haven't met before? Is there anybody new that's came into your circle? That you've met in person, I guess I should say.
Well, I mean, there's been a couple of those. Lisa Wicker, that was the first time I ever met her in person the other day. So that was amazing.
Yeah, that was such a good picture. Lisa looked like she was living her best life.
Yes, that was funny because Lisa asked me, that was Lisa's camera. So I got it from Facebook. So Lisa said, you take the selfie. You're better at this stuff. I'm like, I don't ever take selfies.
So you know what? It's because you're taller. So she knows she's going to look good at that angle because you're taller.
I look like a giant with those people. Gosh. And then because it's a selfie, the perspective's off too, because I'm then closest to the camera. It looks like I'm 4 times bigger than the next biggest person there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that was cool. So I met them for the first time. I met Jen Friedrichs for the first time. So with Andrew Webrink, that was cool.
Yeah,
I've known her for a long time. Of course, she works for Uncle Nearest, so she's in the industry as well. So that was cool to meet her. There's not a lot of people that I haven't already met in the industry.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I just wanted to see because it looked like a big weekend for a lot of people just getting together. So it looked like fun for everybody that was there.
Yeah, it was just kind of that. It was kind of like a hangout reunion type of thing. I mean, I will say one thing that one person I've gotten closer to over time here recently is Michael Myers.
Oh yeah, I loved him on the Bourbon Talk Show. Like I don't know him the way you know him, but he's such a great human being.
He is, right? Yeah. So yeah, I've got to know him a little bit better on a personal basis, which is great. And look forward to becoming better friends with him. The past year in 2020, got to be better friends with Freddie No, which is an amazing thing. So yeah, you and I'll have to work on. That's going to be an event coming up where Freddie is going to show us behind the scenes at the new craft distillery they've got.
That's going to be super cool. That's like exclusive. That's awesome.
That is a very exclusive one. So yeah, we get to do a lot of cool things. I'll say that. So yeah, I'm just meeting folks like that. So yeah, but we love what we're doing. That's the bottom line. If you're listening to this, none of this is fake. We absolutely love what we're doing, don't we, McNew?
Yeah, we do. Like this is like really highlight of my week, my day, my life. I'm just like, I just want to do ABV Network bourbon stuff. That's what I want to do, right? Like
that's what you want to do. Yeah.
That's like where my energy is. It's what I want to be doing because it's so great. We get to meet so many great people that are doing so many cool things. Like, how can you not love it?
Right. I hope that sooner than later we can get you where you can start doing some more stuff. And the store is a big thing right now. I want to make sure we launch that successfully.
Oh yeah.
Make sure we things are the same with the partnerships, but then hopefully we can get you involved in more things as I'm more involved with the store and stuff like that. That'd be cool. Cool stuff, McNew. We got a great future in front of us, don't we?
We do. So what's next creatively, Steve? So we know about you're going to go to Colorado and do a show there. What do we not know that you're planning creatively?
There's always a lot of things in the works. A big thing that we're going to be doing is a TV show starring Bo that is going to be coming out. So yeah, Bo's going to be the featured star of it, and yes, it'll be an episodic thing, and it's going to be content for our new Vimeo channel, which Vimeo is going to become a big thing. I think right now, you may think we're overstating it if you get on our Vimeo, because we don't have that much out there. We've got our current projects that we
it's something that you build, right? So like once it's built, like fantastic. It's building progress,
we're in the building stages of it for sure, but down the road it's going to be huge. I think that's a really big thing for us. I feel like YouTube, we've just started to scratch the surface on that, and it's taken us a long time. We've had the channel now for 2 years, and though I would say I've been active in it in the last year. So before that, Bo had it. He just put out occasionally our trailers and stuff like that. Not a whole lot, but this past year, with starting with the Bourbon Talk Show, when that launched in the spring. Then I started focusing on that, and I kind of got a formula for it now. Again, the thumbnails and quick interviews and stuff that's fun, that brings people back to it again and again. I think that's really cool. Another thing that I'm really pleased about and proud of is what people are listening to here is the new Apple subscription service. And I feel like that is something that is really going to be big for us, because it's going to, by stripping down the interviews to just the interviews, it allows people to hear the content on one of the channels or one of the shows on this channel. So we have the classic interviews, and we've got over 500 interviews. We're going to release all those over time. So that's pretty cool. And then the other thing is the chatting with this opportunity to hear conversations.
I think these are so cool. Like, I love that chatting with thing, because it's like, it's just a conversation. You may get some scoop, you may get whatever, but I think it's cool because you get to know people, right? Where it's just a conversation.
Yes. Yeah. That's the idea, is we're doing just conversations.
I love that.
I think it's cool. It's something, very different for the industry, which I love. And we just continue to do those type of cool things. I think another one that's a little bit underrated at this point and maybe flying under the radar is the fact that we just launched the Amazon fashion page. So I feel like, we will grow. Again, you're looking at it early on. Right now, we're on this probationary time, McNew, where we can release one item a day. And once we get to 10 items, then they will evaluate our sales after we've got 10 items. And then we might be kicked out of the program, or we might become full-time Amazon, where we can sell on that. I hope that's the case, because
my face is on there. You can buy my face on a t-shirt. So do it.
You've been released on a second one. You're on 2 of them now. So
I haven't seen it yet.
So there's 2 of them out there with you. And I feel like, it could be a deal where we're releasing a new t-shirt every day, because of the fact that you don't have to invest in these things. They print it on demand. So we can come up with ideas. If something funny happens on the Bourbon Daily, we can talk about it, create a t-shirt for it, and in the description of it, click on today's t-shirt.
I would love a quote shirt, right? Like all the not dumb stuff, but funny things that happen where it's like, that would be a great quote. Print that immediately, because that's amazing.
I agree. So that's the plan, is to get to that point where we have that sort of thing available to us. So we'll see. We'll see if it happens. I'm really liking where that's going. So we've just got a lot of cool things in the works. There's this big thing that we can't talk about that involves Hollywood and real production companies, and that's something that if that comes through, that's going to be big. It's going to take the ABV network to the next level, because it's going to expose it to cable TV, which is a much bigger audience than what we have. So that'll be cool.
That would be cool.
And I'm working on a couple books. I've got a couple things that I work on for a long time. There's one book.
You are doing like a passport book. Where's that at?
Yeah. So this is tough, because it's done. It's ready to go. But my guy who designs the covers is he's really busy and he's putting off. I need to get him on that because I need to get that published in time for the important holiday season. So yeah, I think I'm going to touch base with him tomorrow as we record this.
Yeah, I think that would actually be a great Christmas gift for like your bourbon fans, because it's basically like, here's a bourbon bucket list, whatever, go do it, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that would be a great gift for bourbon fans.
That's the idea of it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's just a couple of things. There's always a million things going on, but that's a couple of the things that we've got going on. So yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is. There's always so many cool things going on.
Not a bad thing. So, all right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap this one up, and we'll do it as we always do by talking about where people can find us. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, podcasts, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. We are here in Arnold, Missouri, a St. Louis suburb. We'd love to show you what we've got in terms of barrel picks. You can taste before you buy here. Pretty cool. At a very minimum, sign up at abvbarrelshop.com for our email and text distribution. And please get involved with the show. Head over to patreon.com/the ABV Network and give us a 5-star review. It helps new people find the show. That's pretty darn important to us. On that note, we will let you go for today, but we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya. Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.